let's talk about another stock that moved. I think it moved over 12% today, EOS.
Okay.
So they announced a partnership with Turbine-X. So it's a positive move. I have very mixed feelings on this actual partnership, and I wish I could come in here and be like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be fantastic." But
Because you
I
own
do
EOS.
because yes, I have a 2% position in EOS, so, like and the stock has been hit badly, as you know. Like, I think my position was down over 50% at one point,
Oh, wow.
um, but and now I'm maybe down, I don't know, somewhere over 20%. So, like, I would love to see strong positive news and strong positive moves, but I also have to be realistic about, you know, how I'm actually
So
feeling about
what
these things.
what is the partnership? What are they doing?
Turbine X has, gas turbines to generate power,
Okay.
and EOS has the batteries to, you know, store not only store that power, but also use it dynamically, specifically for large scale data centers, that, like, need a lot of power on demand, which I
Okay.
don't think can be used directly with these gas turbines. Like, you kinda need this, like, middleman system. They're targeting up to 2 gigawatt hours of EOS, storage systems over the next 36 months, I believe, and the initial, deployment is they're targeting for 2027, so it's nothing, like, immediate. The pieces that give me pause about this partnership is a big piece that they're promoting is this is an off the grid, like, setup. So,
Mm.
there's a lot of concerns about, people building data center or companies building data centers and it being a big draw on the electric grid. And this totally avoids that
Eliminates that.
because it's these gas turbines that are powering the data centers with the EOS batteries.
So that sounds like a good thing.
It does sound like a good thing. The
Okay.
problem that I have is if I am in the party that is against building out these data centers, can I find a way to push back on this? And the answer is absolutely, because how are you going to power the gas turbines or, like, what's the fuel? And it's going to be natural gas. So you're
Right.
still taking a resource from the local community to power this system. So in theory, depending on where it's located, because there's different dynamics, depending on the geographics, you could still have increased natural gas prices if this system,
Mm.
shows up in your neighborhood versus increased
Right.
electricity prices. Um, Now, I think it would have, from my understanding, which is limited, I think it would have
Yeah.
less of an impact than ha being plugged directly into the electrical grid, so that's positive.
Right.
The build out of actually, like, building the gas pipeline to the data center takes months as opposed to building the, uh, like, electric grid connection, not a
Yeah.
technical term, but that takes years. So this is a lot quicker, which is good for the business. And again, I'm not even against using natural gas to power the data centers. I'm more just concerned, is this going to be approved to from the local,
The local
municipalities?
community. Okay.
Right.
But, I mean, I think it might be more likely to get approved, and that might be where the excitement is, or these kind of solutions is why they might be gravitating towards them because they're more likely to be approved because natural gas is doesn't have as much of a shortage as electrical generation has,
I
right? So
absolutely.
so with
And
electrical generation, there's two aspects to it. There's sort of like the fuel itself, which could be natural gas to generate the electricity, or it could be coal or nuclear or whatever. But then there's the maximum capacity of the uh, power plant, which if you exceed the maximum capacity, you have to have an expansion of the power plant or a new power plant. Um, and this one is just a natural resource, essentially being fed to uh, a localized power plant for the data center. So, and they might be able to argue that they could put power back into the grid and even remove some of the demand on the power plant. So this might, during the times that
That's a
the
good point.
doesn't need it as much. And this is why I think that the um, market might be more excited about localized power plants that are sort of using these secondary systems to generate power for a data center, because they can now bring power back to the grid and lower the price of demand power, which is what most communities are worried about. So I don't have as much concern about it, although if I'm not an EOS shareholder, so I haven't been paying close attention to it. But in general, with AI data centers in particular, I think that's the excitement.
Right. What I would have loved to have seen that would have made me feel a bit better is either one, a more green solution, and which
Right.
I personally prefer, but again, my core issue is it just being approved. Or if they came out and said, this is exactly where we're building, these are our customers that are signed up. And I don't think they disclosed any of that information. So
Okay.
it's more that
Yeah.
they disclose that they have a plan.
To do this.
And right, and they're targeting up to 2 gigawatt hours.
Okay.
Unfortunately, if they hit 0, that still counts, right? Like, in
That's
regards
still
to,
up to.
yeah, it's up to.
It's under two.
So and I hope you're right, and I hope I'm being, like, overly cautious, and I'm not doing anything with the stock. I still believe in EOS, and I don't think that this is a bad move. But I think it's important, especially when the stock moves 12% in one day, to kind of be critical, because if the stock goes down, either because the deal, the data center deal doesn't go through, or the market kind of has a similar sense that, like, okay, maybe this is going to be a bit of a longer road. It helps me be more level headed of like, okay, this is something I saw coming. That 12% move never really should have happened. Um,
I see.
so that's what
You,
I'm thinking about it.
I think I'm hearing you have a like doomsdayer type of viewpoint on your investments, just in case things go bad. You're like, "Damn, I knew it."
Well, I wouldn't say doomsday. Like, I think they're going to do well. I just don't think this deal was particularly
Okay,
very strong,
okay, I got you.
you
That
know,
was more of a
um, a joke.
unfair characteristic. Yeah,
Oh,
unfair
um,
characterization of what you're saying. But yeah,
yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
like,
What else?
I don't think yeah, and again, this is positive news.
What else?
I think that it's not going to be as straightforward as everyone's expecting, because it's just very difficult to get, data center build out approvals. And there's a lot of, like, ways that, local municipalities can poke holes in this plan. But
Right,
to your point, if they're going to give back and provide energy to the electric grid, that could be very interesting. But they're also saying that the benefit is that they don't have to touch the electric grid, and that's going to save time building out these data centers. So even if they're going to give back, they don't have the wiring to do it 'cause it's off the grid.
right. No,
So,
yeah, in order to give back, they would have to be connected. So yeah,
right.
you're right, but there might be less of a concern in
There should be
because
less
of
of a
what.
concern.
Yeah,
But, like we were talking about in TED, there's a lot of, like, both extremes, and
yeah,
it's just very hard, unfortunately. And that's part of the reason why I like Iron so much, is they're solely, developing green data centers. So it's a lot
gotcha.
easier for them to get approval. So people are doing it.